Hi, I'm Beth. Welcome to my Bubbie's Kitchen. And we call it my Bubbie's Kitchen because my grandbabies, Lukey, Zachary, Aiden, and Leo, come here to eat all their favorite foods. And today, we're making pumpkin bread because it's the first day of fall. Ingredients for pumpkin bread. This is my girlfriend Eileen's recipe for pumpkin bread, and it's the first time I'm making it, so I'm going to read all of these ingredients to you so that you get the right proportions. I actually cut it in half so that I'm only making one loaf, and I'm adding a half a cup of raisins and a half a cup of walnuts. That's not in Eileen's recipe, but I think it's going to make it great. I'm going to use 1 cup of this pumpkin once I cook it down. 1 3/4 cups of sugar, 2 eggs, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. We've got 1/3 cup of water and a half a cup of oil. Now to cut up the pumpkin. I'm going to cut this pumpkin into pieces, and then I'm going to boil it till it's soft. And I just decided that rather than throw out the seeds, I'm going to try to roast seeds too. I've never done that before. Usually we cut the pumpkin and make it into some sort of a scary face, but this one was outside with all the others. It wasn't cut, so I figured I'll use this one. What would you do with the pumpkins that are outside? You just toss them, right? A lot of times we throw them into the woods so that the deers can eat them, but let's make pumpkin bread. This is the messy part. I'm going to have to get all these seeds into the colander, wash them off, and then dry them before I roast them. Richie actually cut up the pumpkin into smaller pieces. I'm just cleaning everything off. I don't think I'm going to make all of the pumpkin in one batch. Got some water in a pot back here. Going to boil all of these. Bring it to the boil and let it cook until it's soft. I washed my pumpkin seeds, and I'm going to get them onto a paper towel to dry. I think I want to try to get them as dry as I possibly can before I bake them. Pick out any remaining flesh. See you when that pumpkin's soft. The pumpkin water is just coming up to boil. My seeds are dry, so I'm going to hit them with a little grapeseed oil and some table salt. James used to love to have pumpkin seeds, right? At his baseball games, Sean and Steve. I used to bring them pumpkin seeds. And your mother loves seeds, right? Mama loved to eat seeds. But we never made them. We always bought them. Going to put it into a 350-degree oven, 15 minutes. We'll see what we got. I think I'm going to turn it a couple of times just to make sure that it gets roasted on all the sides. It's been 15 minutes, so I'm going to take the seeds out of the oven. I think those are done. This little chicken, Eileen actually gave that to me as a gift. So I'm going to move her over, put our seeds here till they cool. And our pumpkin, get in that pot, Rich. Our pumpkin is now fork tender. So I'm going to take the pieces out. And let them cool before I get the skin off. And I just want to say, Eileen, that now I truly appreciate that this was a labor of love. Because next year, I'm using canned pumpkin. It's still smoking hot, but I think I can get this skin off. Comes right off. Eileen said I should mash this and then strain it again. So I'll finish getting this done and start mashing. Skin is off. So we're going to just mash this up, which is very, very easy to do because it's so soft now. Pretty yellow, orangey color. And then, once I get this all mashed up, I have to strain it for a little while just to make sure that all the excess water comes out. I want you to know that I stand corrected. James told me that it wasn't pumpkin seeds that they liked. It was sunflower seeds. Mama too. But Mama would eat any seeds, right? Honeydew seeds, cantaloupe seeds. We've got our seeds here. Let's see.
They sound crispy.
Just eat the whole thing. It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
It really is.
Probably.
I think those would be great in a salad.
Maybe, but we'll find out.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's let this drain for a little while. Time to make our pumpkin bread. Making the pumpkin from a fresh pumpkin isn't really hard to do, and it's a neat thing to do to use up the pumpkins that you have outside, but I feel no guilt using canned pumpkin next year because the deer will eat our pumpkins. So the first thing I'm going to do is blow that little piece of dust out of my bowl.
No dust in that.
No dust in the bowl.
No dust there.
Right? I'm going to have 2 eggs, no shells. Gonna beat them up. My water and oil. Gonna get a cup of pumpkin. And I am glad that I drained it. Look. Look at all the water that came out. Get the pumpkin in there. I definitely have enough for another loaf. I cannot believe, but I'm looking at the ingredients right before I was going to shoot this segment, and I completely forgot the flour. So make sure that you have 1.5 cups of flour, 1 3/4 cups of flour, and 1.5 cups of sugar. You have your baking soda, your baking powder, your cinnamon, your nutmeg. We've got some salt. Teaspoon of salt, good pinch. Mix the dry ingredients around. Get them right in with the wet. I'm going to put in our nuts. We like walnuts and raisins, so Eileen doesn't use that, but we like it, so that's going into our bread. Eileen Carnero recipe. Hopefully I'm going to make it as well as she makes it up in Rochester. I have a buttered loaf pan. $350-degree oven, 35 minutes. We're going to eat some pumpkin bread. It's been 40 minutes. Let's see. Our toothpick is clean. This smells wonderful, doesn't it?
Pumpkin-y.
Pumpkin-y. All clean. All right. Just going to let our bread cool a little while, then we'll eat. Okay, Eileen, let's see how I did. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Sure is.
Still warm. Mm.